Hey everybody, another daily devotion. We're finishing up John 17 with Jesus' high priestly prayer, where he gets to pray about you. Like literally you, person watching this on the other side of that screen. Jesus is going to pray for you today, and we're going to hear those words. If you want to follow along, the text is in the description of the video or the description of the podcast. And if you're on Facebook or Instagram, you can pull up another browser and follow along there. I'm going to start reading at verse 20 of chapter 17. I encourage you to follow along. Jesus says, "My prayer is not for them alone. I pray also for those who will believe in me through their message, that all of them may be one, Father, just as you are in me and I am in you. May they also be in us, so that the world may believe that you have sent me. I have given them the glory that you gave me, that they may be one as we are one, I and them, and you and me, so that they may be brought to complete unity. Then the world will know that you sent me and have loved me even as you have loved me. Father, I want those you have given me to be with me where I am, and to see my glory, the glory you have given me because you loved me before the creation of the world. Righteous Father, though the world does not know you, I know you, and they know that you have sent me. I have made you known to them, and will continue to make you known in order that the love you have for me may be in them, and that I myself may be in them." This is the gospel of the Lord. So when he says, "My prayer is not for them alone," them he's talking about is the apostles, the disciples who are with him. He says, "I pray also for those who will believe in me through their message." Well, that's you. You believe in Jesus because of the message of the apostles. He says, "I pray for them, you, that all of them may be one, Father, just as you are in me and I am in you." Well, what is the relationship between Jesus and the Father? They are so one, and yet also completely distinct from each other, right? Now, obviously, this is the mystery of the Trinity. How can something be one and also be two separate things at the same time? Or in the case of the Trinity, three separate things at the same time? We don't know, but we know this, that if you've been reading through this gospel, you understand how intimately Jesus knows the Father and how important that relationship is to him. And he says that's the type of relationship that you are going to have with him and therefore with the Father. And this is going to come because of the belief that you have in the message. And he actually explains that that message is his glory, right? Verse 22, "I have given them the glory you gave me, that they may be one as we are one." In other words, he says the message is what they believe so that they can be in one with me, just as I am one with you. And that's glory. That's the glory that you gave me, Father, in being the Word that in the beginning was with God and was with God in the beginning, in order that all things that were made could be made through him. And that eternal life could also come through him when he came in flesh, because the Word became flesh and made his dwelling among us. The Word is the glory. The Word is what you believe, and the Word came through the apostles so that your faith could be a reality. He says, "I have given them the glory you have given me, that they may be one as we are one, I and them, and you and me, so that they may be brought to complete unity. And here's the result. Then the world will know that you sent me, and have loved them even as you have loved me." So let's just track this for a second and then make a really cool application, okay? So Jesus says, "I'm praying for the rest of all those people who will believe the gospel because of the message that these apostles are going to bring forth," which is, by the way, what we have in the New Testament. We have the words of the apostles. Every single book of the New Testament is attached to, apostolic authorship. Even if the apostle is not the one who put the pen on the page, the apostles were the ones who were overseeing the writing of those scriptures. And their message is what you believed. The Word, right, that is bringing faith is what came through the apostles. And that is unifying us in a way that makes the world see that there is something unique about the Christian church. And that they can know then the love that is in the Father, that comes to the Son, that comes out from the Son's the Son's open wounds to us through his blood, which purifies us from all sins and also makes us into one body of believers. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about unity. Jesus prays for unity, and we should always want unity. I think on the one hand, Christians are terrible at striving for unity in North America. We really love to be against stuff. And we really struggle with being for things and then also helping other people understand why we are for those things and what those things are for. If you have two Christians in a room, the odds are they're not going to talk about what the scriptures say, the message of the apostles, and try to find unity over that. They're going to bring their talking points to the table from their theological traditions and just try to force feed each other doctrine in order to make the other one believe what they already believe. And frankly, this is not Christianity. This is fascism. It's fascism. It's Nietzsche's strongman. And I'm sorry if you don't understand the philosophical references, but the point is that if I don't like the way that you are, I can force you by strong-arming you to believe what I believe. But that's not unity. Frankly, it's dictatorship. It's fascism. And that's what the world does. The world talks about unity, but what it really means is I'm going to force you to believe what I believe. I think about this with, the presidential elections that are coming up in the United States. A lot of talk about unifying America. How is that unity going to happen? Is it going to happen because people are going to sit down with people and actually look at whatever the issue is, the founding documents or the history of the United States or the issues in the news? Are they going to sit over those things and work together to find unity? Probably not. And it's not America's fault. It's every nation's fault. It's every person's fault. We don't want to unify in the way that God unifies with himself. We want to unify the way that Satan unifies, through lies, through anger, through force, through hate. But what Jesus says is this message, these words. You can strive for unity over them. And when you strive for unity over these things, that will give an impression to the world that something is happening in the Christian church that is completely different than anywhere else. I mentioned this in another video that I made, but as I've been starting to talk about kind of public issues, especially the issue of masks and why we wear them or don't wear them, people have written me things criticizing what I've said, but 0 people have written me back and said, I actually want to have a reasonable conversation with you about the issue. It's sad. I want to strive for unity. Not because I'm such a great person, but because Jesus strove for unity with me through his own death on the cross. Let's strive for unity, Christians. Let's strive to find unity over these scriptures, to go back to what they say, and then be okay with it and say, how can this be true? Not how can this fit into my theological system? I know I'm getting heated about it, but I'm just so frustrated at how the Christian church disagrees about things. It's not that we can't disagree. In fact, we should disagree. In fact, the book of 1 Corinthians says we have to disagree in order to show which one of us has the truth, who understands the scriptures. But that means that we should also go back to the scriptures and find out what they actually say. As I think about disagreements in our church, I think about how few times we actually go back to the scriptures and say, here's what the scriptures say. We hold ourselves to that, hold each other to that. We talk about our opinions, we talk about our feelings, we talk about our preferences, but we very rarely talk about the scriptures. And that's not just my congregation, and I'm not immune from that. I do that too. It's everyone's congregation. It's the sinful nature that is in us. And yet, through all of it, the grace of this is that Jesus dies for those sins to unify us with the Father through the message that he gives us. What a beautiful message. Let's keep reading. He says, Father, I want those you have given me to be with me where I am and to see my glory, the glory you have given me because you loved me before the creation of the world. Righteous Father, though the world does not know you, I know you, and they know that you have sent me. I have made you known to them and will continue to make you known in order that the love you have for me may be in them and that I myself may be in them. In other words, the unity that he is striving for is going to continually happen through the Word. He has promised that that Word is going to continue to come through the Holy Spirit. Once he goes away, the other counselor will come, and he will continue to lead you in all truth and remind you of the things that Jesus has said. This is still happening. This prayer has been answered. Obviously, there is not visible unity between the church, but there is a unity over the scriptures when we come together as Christians and we read them and we study them and we submit to them as the truth of Christ's words for us so that we can be saved. Thank you for putting up with me as I ranted a little bit. I'm kind of passionate about the word, and I hope you are too. If you're watching this, I'm guessing that you are, and I'm guessing that you're finding some value from it. So if you would, please share this, like it, comment, do whatever you need to do so that other people can find this content. And if you're watching on YouTube, make sure you click on the links on the screen so that you can see some other things that I've been up to.